opwindende en jong hier agter van Transvaal. En dit gaan baie beteken vir sy selfvertroue. Bal wat hy uitskop. Stand van die wedstryd. Ander stryd om in Philip Skutte teen Garrick Morgan en John Hills. En die ingooi werk gaan ook baie belangrik is.
Dit is baie belangrik. Jaker Cannon van Queensland vervang vir Foley en mens weet nie hoeveel het hy en sy slotte saam geoefen nie, maar Queensland se slotte wat baie goed is.
Hills wat oorstuur, Transvaal wat hom afneem. Jason Little weggebarst deur Connors. Queensland wat verlede Saterdag of Sondag afgereken het met Natal. Kom die skop van Flatley. Onder die bal Lawless. Net buite kan die kwartgebied van Transvaal, Johan Roux.
Played here at night, and it was an extremely tough assignment for Transvaal. So the Southeastern's guys will be looking to put some points on the board. Home game is vitally important in the Bankford Currie Cup series. Philip Skutte has come in at the jumping number 4. Hannah Stradum still injured. Skutte it is who goes up to try and make the catch. And one can expect that Southeasterns will start with great robustness.
So dan sal die WP-man opgaan totdat FC Smith weggedokter is. Nico Wegner wat op die veld kom om tydelik vir FC Smith te vervang as hy nie te ernstig beseer is nie. Gaan net om die bloeding aan sy gesig en kyk of hulle dit kan regkry dat hy weer sy plek kan inneem. Die intereste op die lyn van Weselike Provinsie, Michael Kirsten. So ene Gerbrand Grobler wag vir hom, Chester Williams is daar. Grobler probeer die bal wegkry agtertoe. Transvaal, Gavin Johnson, binnekant sy kwartgebied, baie goed terugbeweeg, seker gemaak dat hy kan direk uitskop. En dit is dan so sake in hierdie stadium staan. Weselike Provinsie 3, Transvaal 0, so 20 minute wat oorbly en ons sluit vir verdere kommentaar aan by Gavin Cowley en Chick Anderson.
Well, Transvaal once again calling a short line out, very much part of their game plan today. We saw in the Line Cup final 2 weeks ago that they dominated Western Province in the line outs, which was a little unexpected. But certainly thus far in the match, they've held their own. Territorially, they've been stronger. But Chick, this has really been a game full of injuries thus far, has it not?
Yes, it has. Unfortunate stoppages, but nothing too serious, one hopes.
Well, in fact, it's Morne Visser who's throwing in, so Western Province have called the short line out on this occasion. Good flip across there from Cap. Pagel in the middle on his 28th birthday, but Western Province messed that up with Caban, Tinnis Lani. Not too much sideways movement from the Western Province side, and really they've had scraps of possession thus far in the game, and they certainly haven't spent much time in the Transvaal half.
So as you say, they're not lining very deeply, Gavin. It's very difficult for centres to get the ball when they're fairly flat like that.
Adlam. Johnson picks with real precision, doesn't Gavin Johnson? Just look at that.
It looks as though Transvaal's pattern is try to remain on the attack, and certainly territorially they've had the better of things. In fact, as you said earlier on, almost the first time that Western Province got into the Transvaal half, they got that magnificent drop by Stransky, and now leading 3 points to 0, but Transvaal just can't capitalise. They're getting enough ball, but they're still making silly mistakes.
Well, what might be worrying for them is that they've been down there and they haven't managed to consolidate. And that penalty will go Western Province's way for holding down in the line-out. Referee Rudy May, in his 24th first-class game today. John Stransky's kick lands on top of one of our cameras down there on the halfway line. Visser with a quick throw in. That was good thinking by Western Province. Lee Blom taking it in the front of the line out. Visser, he's on the field as well as a replacement. And the choice of replacements has been good thus far in the match because players have slotted in rather well into the different positions. That Barley Swart with a number 1 on his back today, scrumming at loose head. He and Ian Hutting have changed around. They did it last week and felt it worked well. So Ray Mortars stuck to that. Grobler's hoist. Another tester for Peter Rousseau. Just watch Yapi Mulder fly into him. Lots of pressure on Western Province. Kirsten. Well, that was a very brave take that by Peter Rousseau, but he was heavily dumped by Yapi Mulder.
One of the first aid men sprinting onto the field to see what happened there. That actually was quite a good up and under because Peter Rousseau had the difficulty of waiting to see whether he could call for the mark, and as the ball came he wanted to mark. And let's see if we can pick this up again. Out to Grobler and the real high Gary Owen, and Peter Rousseau, you see he's got his feet hoping to be able to catch the mark, didn't in fact catch the ball. That was his problem. It was knocked he was knocked down by the calling of the mark, doesn't catch the ball going loose, in a very dangerous situation for Western Province.
Well, ever-present Chester Williams was the man up there to try and help him, but that's been the third real telling up and under from Transvaal on the Western Province side. Obviously part of their plan is, and part of their tactics is to launch these big attacks onto Peter Rousseau, who's relatively inexperienced. Western Province will do well to try and give a little bit more support to the man. This was the kick, as you can see, virtually on his own there, and then Chester Williams comes into the picture.
Perhaps his body not sufficiently behind the ball, Gavin. He caught it sideways and didn't sort of pouch it into the breadbasket.
Well, I'm sure he heard Yapi Mulder coming because he was going at one hell of a lick. Visser and Skitter, but at the back it's Strali who gets it. Once again, Western Transvaal getting good possession. That's the hoist from Johnson. Rousseau once again. This time he takes it cleanly. Well, that's a good effort by young Peter Rousseau because he must have been physically quite shaken from that tackle to get one so soon afterwards and take it so competently.
Yes, a very brave effort indeed, and he's done a pretty good kick out as well. Transvaal think of a quick throw-in, but coming up very quickly is Tina Sani to stop that. It's never easy when that ball is coming out of the sun, and Peter Rousseau must be very pleased. This time, ball being thrown onto the ground outside the field of play. Quite a character is Kevin Grobler.
Well, strange as this game of rugby might be, Norwich Western Province lead 3-0 against Xerox Transvaal. Transvaal has certainly had the better of the game in terms of possession and territory. Well, that was given against Yapi Mulder, that penalty. This is a real chance for Joel Stransky. There won't be any question about it. And one wonders, Chick, just whether Transvaal are perhaps ruining the fact that they didn't take that penalty early in the match, which was seemingly a cakewalk for Gavin Johnson.
Well, I think I said at the time to our overseas viewers that it's really percentage rugby when you get a gift penalty in the first couple of minutes that you just take 3 points. It was heroic stuff to try to have a tap penalty and score, but it's not often you see a try scored in those circumstances when it's given right in the middle of the field, and one felt they had lost the element of surprise.
The Lion Cup final 2 weeks ago was basically a kicking show between Joel Stransky and Gavin Johnson. Will it be the same today? Stransky's the man who's got his sights set right. That's a great kick.
Of course, in the Lion Cup final, it was Western Province who had to play comeback rugby. Remember, they were down 7-0 after 2 minutes. And now this time, with Transvaal being 6-0 on, it's they who have to play the comeback type of rugby.
FC Smith comes back onto the field. Nico Vechner leaves it. Western Province doing well on this occasion to drive the Transvaalers back. Very difficult to defend from those situations because you need to come in from the feet of the last man. Oh, the Transvaal players going over the top. Francois Pienaar, the culprit. It's necessary for Transvaal's cause that he's in the thick of things and that he's first to the point of breakdown.
That ruck was a case once again of the Transvaal players standing around. You had about 7 Western Province players in that ruck and only about 4 or 5 Transvaalers, and you just can't afford that. Your loose forwards must get in those ruck situations.
Well, Western Province have the throw-in because they kicked the penalty out. Well, the element of surprise is now taken away from them. They were going to have a 2-man line out. Firstly, another injury to the tendons to an injury on the Transvaal side.
As Chris will say, who is a very promising player. He did particularly well about 2 seasons ago when he was playing for Pretoria University and played for Northern Transvaal. He's a very quick about the field sort of chap, very mobile, and he's a good rugby player, good handler of the ball, and looks as though he's fine now.
He's, of course, the brother of the mealie farmer, Charles Rousseau, who's left the field. Passer, well taken by FC Smith. Kirsten's big hoist. There's lots of time for Peter Hendricks. Peter Hendricks catches it almost in mid-air with a very solid mark. Well, that was good understanding between Hendricks and Kerbrand Koblu, who called for it quickly, and unfortunately it wasn't a great kick from him, but always wise to give the ball to the more prodigious goal line kicker. This is a short line out, a poor attack from them. Philip Scutter. Great benefits for Transvaal in having a man like Joppie Adlam to replace Johan Roux. Such a big strong man is Joppie Adlam. Very much in the Johan Roux mould. Well, there's the message for the knock-on first and foremost. The Transvaal spectators not very happy with that. Both scrums have stood well thus far. Grobler well positioned.
Doesn't look too happy about that, but he was under pressure, and the main thing is to get the ball out to touch. The Western Province seem to be coming into their own now. Their forwards are driving better, and territorially they are doing much better than they were in the first 20 minutes.
Well, both teams have had fairly rough starts to the season and have started sparking towards the death. One wonders if this match will take the same route. He's set for a thrilling last 20 minutes with Western Province leading 6 points to 0. Tap goes towards Western Province. Good play by Francois Pienaar and wresting it away. Adlam, long kick down. That's an excellent kick from Joppie Adlam. I'm sure he's learnt a lot from Johan Roux as Joppie Adlam with those kicks down the touchline. It takes so much pressure off your fly half or your fullback if you're able to get yourself into that position. And very often, being a big, strong man as well, he can take the punishment, Chick.
Yes, he's been a very good player in club rugby, looking to be a very hard contender. That's a Ron Fontaine, and they've had a good couple of seasons. But he's been waiting in the wings for a long time, and he's a better player than a lot of people think.
Bruno Chris's throw-ins have been exemplary. Michael Kirsten just not catching on that occasion. Well, I'm sure Transvaal really want to open their account, Chick, and just get away from that 0 that's reflected on the scoreboard. Could it be a drop goal from Gavin Johnson, another hoist possibly? This time they decide to run it. Grobler in, does well. This is Jaapie Mulder. No support for him, and he couldn't get his pass in. Stransky does well. Good play by Johan Kapp for Western Province. Flop Saliers. Well, that's versatility for you. He's a right wing. He found himself in the fly half position by choice or by design, whatever it was.
It was a good move by Transvaal, but a great tackle by Christian Stewart, because there was the half overlap, and Christian Stewart really launched himself there. Western Province defending very well, Gavin. Their cross-tackling is good, and it's going to be hard for Transvaal to get through that back line.
Well, Transvaal have possibly just lost their decisiveness that we saw in the early parts of the game in respect of decision-making. Perhaps a little bit of over-elaboration in the rucks and mauls. Full credit to Western Province for some great defence thus far in the game. Well, do we not see that so often in South African rugby, with the man on the ground holding on to the ball, not releasing it?
Well, it's worth trying. I think Gavin Johnson has indicated he's going to go for the posts. It's a long, long kick, but 6 points to 0, Transvaal are down. The 6-3 at half-time certainly would be psychologically better than having no points on the board. And one has seen Gavin Johnson kick them from here before.
One fancies, if I know the weather in the Transvaal chick, that he'll be aided by a slight northwesterly wind. He's certainly got the distance as Gavin Johnson. It hasn't curled in enough.
And as you say, he had the distance, not the direction, so well worth trying, and that'll put a little heart into Transvaal, because it's better to come close to scoring than not to come close at all.
Chester Williams is the man who takes the drop kick. Lots of versatility in the Western Province back line. This is good running. Watch Yuppie Adlam. He does well and then comes back inside. They want to release that ball. Western Province take it away. Well, Tian Strauss is not at all happy with that. Felt that the man played the ball from a standing position, but the referee indicates that the man had gone over and played the ball from the ground.
Well, of course, you're only going to have one knee on the ground to denote that you're on the ground. You've got to be on your feet, which means on both feet. And the referee certainly seemed very decisive, and he was on the spot. So perhaps not quite as long a kick and from in front, but it still is just within only 3 meters inside the Western Province half of the field.
Just 4 minutes left in this first half. It's not often you get 2 chances within the space of 2 or 3 minutes. Johnson normally doesn't miss the second. It's straight. That's a beautiful kick from Gavin Johnson. That's Transvaal's opening account. Well, Chick, it's interesting that in this first half, there haven't been too many opportunities of really side-scoring tries. I think Transvaal have had the better of the exchanges territorially, but they haven't really got in close and really looked like they were going to score a try on any occasion, and Western Province certainly haven't looked like it at all. But this is Johnson. Back for Chester Williams. Very safe hands, Chester Williams. Takes his time, torpedoes it. Combrink. Quadrant Kobler. Safely out.
Quadrant Kobler getting very close to being outside the 22-meter line. Gavin, I agree with you that it's been a very defensively orientated match. Both sides, I think, with the tension of the seriousness of the game and needing those 2 points for a win, they're tending to be more defence-minded than attacking-minded. I think that'll go in the second half when they see opportunities and start throwing it around.
Well, that puts pressure on the 2 kickers. This is Yuppie Adlam. Strong young man, does well. It's Philip Skitter. Johnson sliding it down. That's good run around there by Bernard Fourie, but they're still moving too laterally on Transvaal. Knock-on coming from Transvaal. Referee will come back now. He was well positioned for that. Well, there have been a number of turnarounds going Western Province's way in terms of robbing the ball from Transvaal on occasions, but that was once again a good opportunity for Transvaal. Nice little platform, although they'd moved sideways, to launch from there, and then the indiscretion.
Because when they got the ball, they actually lost 10 metres. Western Province coming out very quickly on defence, and Transvaal really over-elaborating with the run-around and not, in fact, crossing the advantage line at all.
But they picked up well from there, and then, of course, the knock-on came. But give credit to Western Province once again for a solid and very well-organised defence. Stransky. Transvaal is in an offside position. Michael Kirsten takes the short one. Strauss is running away from all the support and loses the ball. So does Gavin Johnson. But they'll come for the first knock-on. Well, 1-1 is once there with Western Province as well, whether Joel Stransky could not have had a potted goal. It was just inside his own half of the field.
Yes, I think one of the other players who decided to be aggressive and enterprising there.
Well, that was Michael Kirsten, Chick, and he had his captain alongside him, so presumably he got the signal from him. Johnson, a poor pass from Adlam. He does well to recover. Gavin Johnson. This is Yako Low now. Watch the pace of Yako Low now, but they'll come back. There was a forward pass.
Yes, bad luck there. Yako Low, I think, starting off too quickly, and certainly it was forward. Gavin Johnson had him outside him, and Yako Low taking off, and Gavin Johnson perhaps just slowing down as he passed, but certainly he's a very quick player. Let's see if we can pick this up. There's Gavin with a little dummy, and he just is very much forward. They're running right onto it.
Well, that's like taking a bone away from a dog, not allowing Yako Low that opportunity to stretch his legs. He doesn't get as many chances as that, but that was a great opportunity for him. Bruno Visser has been complaining about that front row. Are they scrumming straight? Is there early pressure? Certainly both scrums are holding well. Stransky's drop kick. This is another attempt. It's gone left. Well, that was wise, that, because the clock Yarradellas Park shows 0 time in referee's optional injury time, of which there's been a little bit in this first half. Don Kobler taking the kick this time because he's got the left foot and the benefit of kicking this way.
Yes, that was typical of the Transvaal mistakes. There was a good idea to go the opposite way from what Western Province were expecting, and Transvaal, instead of capitalising the rather simple knock forward, the ball given to Western Province.
Well, it's not easy to kick drop goals from set pieces and tight scrums. Will Stransky try now? Yes, he is trying it, but it's gone wide again. Quadlo's back there. Well, there's lots of boos from the crowd, but believe me, it was the right decision at the time. The execution wasn't quite there.
Yes, if Western Province could be 9-3 up at half-time, that would give them a tremendous psychological advantage.
Back it goes to Peter Rousseau. Everybody else let the ball go past. Corbler. That's the last chance in this first half. That's a long punt from him. There's plenty of time for the Western Province players, and Michael Kirsten in particular. He'll just take his time and drop this down. It could well be half-time. Nope, not yet. Ray Mort taking over the coaching duties from Kitch Christie. Next to him, Wally Walters, the manager of the Transvaal team. Tito Lupini is the assistant coach to Ray Mort for Transvaal. He's been appointed, former Transvaal and Italian front ranker. Adlam is the man with a pickup under enormous pressure. Well, that was not a very shrill blast on the whistle of the referee, Rudy May, but that is in fact half-time, with Norwich Western Province leading Xerox Transvaal by 6 points to 3. Transvaal will be disappointed with their first half performance, but Western Province heartened by some really resolute defence, and we look forward to a great second half.
for 4 unforgettable weeks. South Africa can watch the world's greatest players playing the world's greatest game. The Rugby World Cup 1995 will be broadcast to you live and kicking, only on TV1 Top Sport.
All right, mannen. Luister. Scout, take out the wings.
Okay.
Louis, tackle the legs. Okay, Oaks. Vat hulle.
So come on over to our taste.
Ja?
Dokter, ek kan nie slaap nie. Koue sweet slaan op my uit.
Suster die, dankie. Aardkloppings?
Sê nou ek moet hospitaal toe gaan of geopereer word. Hoe gaan ek betaal?
Wel, ek diagnoseer angs.
Oor groot uitgawes, selfs met 'n siekenfonds kan 'n mens nie byhou nie.
Wat het ek nodig?
Spesiale behandeling.
Wat?
'n mediese plan van Sanlam. Die een wat u die omvattendste dekking bied.
Volkome aanpasbaar is by u besondere behoeftes.
En 'n gesonde bedrag kan uitkeer.
Omdat dit van Sanlam is natuurlik.
Medische versekering van Sanlam, waar uw toekomst tel.
Verseker.
5, 4, 3.
Telljoy proudly presents the launch of KU Band Satellite TV. Book now. No obligation and nothing to pay till Satellite Day. See tomorrow's Sunday Times for details. Telljoy Satellite TV. We have seen the future and it's looking good.
Die gesogte wêreldbeker, maar amptelik is daar nie 'n wêreldbeker nie. Daar word gespeel om die William Webb Ellis trofee. Webb Ellis word beskou as die vader van rugby. In 1823 het hy by die rugby skool in 'n soort Engelse voetbalwedstryd by die bal begin hardloop. Eintlik is die oorsprong van rugby veel ouer. In die tyd van die Romeinse Ryk is daar 'n soort balspel gespeel wat elemente van die hedendaagse rugby gehad het. In die 19de eeu is daar by die verskillende Engelse privaat skole verskeie variasies van voetbal gespeel. Maar die skoolleerders van Webb Ellis se rugby skool het later studente aan Oxford en Cambridge geword. En so is hulle variasie na die uithoeke van die wêreld uitgedra en het die spel rugby wêreldwyd gewild geword.
Welcome back to Ellis Park, of course the venue for next year's World Cup final, and the World Cup will be shown to you live on TV1. 6-3, WP wat voorloop, Ellen Zondag, die WP afrigter, ondanks Transvaal wat gebiedsvoordeel en balbesit geniet het, jou span wat goed gedoen het om voor te loop teen rustyd.
Ja, ek dink ons verdediging op die oomblik is baie goed. Ek hoop met ons kan die druk op Transvaal hou. As ons in hulle helfte kan kom, dan sal ons ten minste 'n kans hê om miskien punte aan te teken.
Kortliks, wat was die boodskap rustyd geweest?
Ons gaan hulle nou speel.
Ellen Zondag, baie dankie. Die tweede helfte wat binne oomblikke gaan begin, kom ons sluit weer aan by Christo Olivier en Nico J.
Ja, dis 40 baie belangrike minute wat hier voor lê. Westelike provinsie wat daardie 3 punte voorsprong het. En nie 'n goeie begin vir hierdie tweede helfte vir Transvaal nie.
Ons sal graag wil sien in die tweede helfte dat die spelpatroon, die spelbenadering van beide spanne gaan verander. Daar is baie min buit gespeel. Die bal is baie selde gedra na die vleuels toe. En daar's ook baie selde is die voordeellyn met mag en mening aangeval om sodoende geleenthede te skep vir buite agterspelers.
Westelike provinsie se eerste bal in hierdie tweede helfte. Stransky kantlyn toe. Die druk moet op Transvaal gehou word, het meneer Ellen Zondag vir sy spelers gesê. Meneer Raymond se boodskap het waarskynlik nie baie daarvan verskil in die lynstande. Westelike provinsie wat 71% en wat Transvaal se 75 gehad het. Wat meer lynstande is aan WP toegeken. Kwartlyn van Transvaal. Westelike provinsie in 'n sterk aanvallende posisie. Hulle soek daar die ene, meneer Rudy May gaan 'n Transvaaler straf. Jobie Adlam wat hier aan die diskant lê. FC Smit ruk van die veld af gewees in die eerste helfte met daardie oogbesering. En geleentheid vir Joe Stransky om vroeg in die tweede helfte Westelike provinsie se voorsprong so 'n bietjie verder te ry.
WP wat met mening daar van die lyn staan na vorentoe gedryf het. WP pak voorspelers wat by daardie loskrim afkom, maar die bal word daardeur Jopie Adlam toegeval. Hy gee pad nie van daardie bal af nie en as gevolg van daardie oortreding van hierdie strafskop aan Joe Stransky 'n ideale geleentheid binne die aanvang van die tweede helfte vir WP om weer punte aan te teken.
Stransky tot dusver al 6 punte aangeteken, het ook hier in die eerste helfte laat probeer met 2-3 skipskoppe om die voorsprong te rek. Kan hy dit met hierdie strafskop doen? Nee. Transvaalers wat daardie springende bal nie baie vinnig onder beheer kan kry nie. Transvaal Pienaar is daar, die Westelike provinsie neem hom heel werklik waar af. Kan hulle hom benut? En dan weer 'n strafskop aan Westelike provinsie, dis vlak voor die pale. Transvaal wat oor die bal gegaan het. Transvaal Pienaar baie teleurgesteld, gaan nie daarvan hou nie. Soort fout wat die Transvaalers nie kan bekostig nie. En Stransky gaan 3 punte probeer aanteken. En hy behoort eintlik nie 'n fout te maak nie, dit is voor die pale. Maar na die strafskop, die vorige een van Stransky, teen die paal vas en die kom hy dan met 'n skop wat hy nie kan mis nie, dit is 3 punte by. En Westelike provinsie met die tweede helfte wat maar pas begin het. 3 handige punte by, net 3 minute verstreke en die voorsprong is 6 punte.
WP is so kundige voordeel om so vroeg in die tweede helfte nadat hulle op die aanval gegaan het punte te kan aanteken.
En dan sien ons weer die situasie. Tinus Lemee daaronder, Westelike provinsie wat hom soek. Jaapie Mulder, kom die Transvaalers met hom, Rudolf Stroili na Pieter Hendricks. Kom daar om en is Hendricks. Desperate tuikslag hier van Tinus Lemee. En ons kan verwag dat Transvaal sal aanval nou. Kruip nader aan sy 100-tal vir die Rooibontes.
Transvaal wat van rigting verander het, na Pieter Hendricks aan die linkerkant toe gespeel het, maar Tinus Lemee wat hom net by die kantlyn uitforceer het, en baie sterk hardloop deur Pieter Hendricks, 'n goeie poging ook deur Transvaal wat met mening op hierdie keer die WP doellyn aangeval het, maar WP verdediging wat nog steeds solied is en hou en nie skiet gee op hierdie stadium nie.
Jan Strauss speel sy hard uit. Ek hoop hy daar 'n harde stamp ergens het. Hendricks, by Vlok se lewe verby en dan 'n byna desperate duikslag van Tinus Lemee en Pieter Hendricks het nie genoeg beweegruimte nie. Keith Andrews met so 'n simpatieke arm daar in die skouers van sy kaptein Strauss, Jan Strauss, en hy gaan sy plek inneem. Hy kan die stampe en die stote vat, dan maar van Appington af. Kalahari wêreld, Rudolf Stroili. Baie mooi raak gevat deur FC Smit. Stransky. Ons 'n bietjie verligting bring. Al 9 die punte van Westelike provinsie tot dusver aangeteken. Stransky 2 strafskoppe en 'n skipskop. 5 minute verstreke in hierdie tweede helfte. WP wat nog derentyd die voorsprong het. Ingooi Adlam. Jobus Wiese. Opgeskikbaar gestel. Adlam agterlyn toe. Gavin Johnson, Bernard Fourie. Gerbrand Grobler. Hy gaan vasgevat word. Jaapie Mulder probeer help. Transvaal se agterlyn het 'n bietjie agtertoe speel. 10 tree stappelyn van Westelike provinsie. Adlam beweeg na regs, Jaapie Mulder en dan Gerbrand Grobler. Hy gaan hom deurstuur tot binnekant die kwartgebied van Westelike provinsie.
Die spelers kry dit nie reg deur die bal te dra om oor die voordeellyn te kom en die kontaklyn op die wyse te breek nie, maar met 'n suksesvol met kortskoppies om die opponente laat omdraai en op hierdie wyse wen hulle veld. En op Gerbrand Grobler wat hier met 'n pragtige kortskoppie vorentoe gekom het, die WP span wat omdraai het bal wat uitgegaan het oor die kantlyn. WP weer sterk op die aanval en dit sal interessant wees om te sien of WP van hierdie posisie gebruik kan maak om wel punte aan te teken.
Tussen Louis Blom met daar aandag kry van die Noordhoek manne. Hy het een of twee keer vanmiddag al 'n bietjie swaar opgestaan. Hy daar in een geval na 'n lyn staan of tydens 'n lyn staan het hy en Transvaal Pinaar daar met mekaar gebots. En miskien is dit nog die nagevolge van daardie stamp wat vir hom pla, meneer Ellen Zondag, langsom Nico Wegner. Baie reg gekry met die Westelike provinsie span na die seisoen vir hulle nie so goed begin het nie. Maar Blom en sy plek inneem. Keith Andrews het ook so 'n woordjie van bemoediging in die oor gefluister en nou kan spel voortgaan met die lyn staan. En Morney Visser kan ingooi, dis Philip Skutte. Chris Rousseau, hy lyk of hy ergens in die derde ronde probleem gekry het. WP wat hierdie seisoen baie effektief was met die maalbewegings. Joe Stransky se buiteskop nie ver nie. Dit is veilig. Uit die kwartgebied van WP, die ingooi van Chris Rousseau. Ja, die lynstaan besit van Transvaal is nie skoon en goed en vinnig nie. Daar word baie geklap. En nou Transvaal straf daar. En het vastgehou daar in die lyn staan. Hier kom die skop van Stransky. En Transvaal ver terugjaag en onthou dus ook weer WP se ingooi by die lyn staan. Michael Kirsten, Stransky, Philip Skutte. Baie goede Tiaan Strauss daar gaan ondersteun, seker gemaak dat sy span besit behou. Michael Kirsten, klein kantjie, Chester Williams, nog min van hom gesien vanmiddag. Kom oor die voordeellyn. Gaan beskikbaar stel. Kirsten het dit weer agterlyn toe. Stransky weer 'n skepskop poging van hom, gaan nie daar wees nie. Gerbrand Grobler kry werk om te doen. Ja, nie 'n baie geslaagde skepskop nie, maar Westelike provinsie is diep binne aan die kwartgebied van Transvaal.
Jy sien die posisie ten opsigte van die losskakels, die aantal kere wat hulle geskop het. WP 12 teen die skoppe van 9. Die pogings is juist daar om die vlakliggende agterlyne hok te slaan as 'n teenvoeter daarvoor om die opponente te laat omdraai en op so 'n wyse die verdedigingspatrone te ontwrig.
Gavin Johnson ook baie meer die bal laat loop as Stransky. Goed gespring deur Transvaal se Kobus Wiese. Gavin Johnson se skop heeltemal uit nie, maar meneer My gaan Westelike provinsie straf. Gaping miskien te gou toegemaak daar in die lyn staan. En geleentheid vir Transvaal om 'n bietjie asem te haal. Gavin Johnson. Wat 'n veelsidige rugby speler is dit nie. Heel agter gespeel, veel gespeel, die oomblikke Transvaal om nodig op losskakel.
So verder opmerklik is dat die besit van die beide spanne in die vaste spel, dat met daardie besit hulle nie vorentoe kan speel nie. Daar is net nie voldoende beheer nie, maar aan die ander kant is die opponente se verdediging so solied kort by die vaste spel dat daar geen sprake kan wees van dryfspel van enige van die twee spanne nie.
FC Smit. Jan Strauss, Stransky, deur my gaan sê dis skeef. Gewag vir voordeel wat nie daar was nie op die middellyn. En dis Transvaal se ingooi. Gavin Johnson word geplaas deur Kabang, maar dit lyk tog na 'n goeie skop. Klokselier kry hom. Netjies uit die lug uit raak gevat. Dit was nie 'n maklike een nie, dit was oor sy skouer. Gerbrand Grobler. Middellyn. Word ingewag deur Pieter Rousseau. Meneer My gaan Westelike provinsie straf vir 'n laagvat op Gerbrand Grobler. Ja, dis 'n skoonvang. Dis 'n skoonvang aan Pieter Rousseau wat toegeken word.
Skeieregter het die situasie baie goed opgehou nadat Gerben Grobler daar geskop het, maar hy het beslis dat dit nie ongeoorloofde spel was toe daar kontak gemaak is met Gerben Grobler, een van die WP spelers nie. Gerben Grobler wat nader hardloop en dan die hoë skoppie terwyl hy vorentoe beweeg, maar jy sien Keith Andrews wat voor hom is. Keith Andrews het glad nie sy arms gebruik nie en die skeieregter reg besluit dat dit 'n ongeoorloofde spel was nie.
Christian Stewart, Transvaal Pienaar is daar om hom grond toe te ry. Westelike provinsie lyk gevaarlik, slaan na die diskant toe, Stransky. Hy is in die hande daar van een Hatting. Adlam, Gerbrand Grobler. Dit kan 'n baie goeie skop word. Dit is inderdaad 'n uitstekende skop van Gerbrand Grobler. Verplaasspel van kwartlyn of 22 meter lyn tot 22 meter lyn. Westelike provinsie klou aan hulle voorsprong van 6 punte. 12 minute verstreke in hierdie tweede helfte.
Ek vind dit net vreemd dat WP nie sy agterlyn wil gebruik en wyd speel nie. Voor hierdie goeie skop van Gerben Grobler was daar 'n ideale geleentheid gewees. Hulle het reeds die een man oorbewerkstellig, maar Stransky het besluit om die bal op sy voete te sit, plaas om sy mede-agterspelers aan die beide kante gebruik.
Aanslaan deur Westelike provinsie, Transvaal se ingooi. Hier is nou geleentheid vir Transvaal om aan te val van hierdie skram af. Adlam, Gavin Johnson, geleentheid om aan te val, Japie Mulder. Westelike provinsie, baie goeie verdedigingspatroon. Weer Johnson, Gerard Kombrink. Chris Rousseau neem so 'n bietjie verder, Adlam soek dit, Transvaal Pienaar. Soek die ondersteuning, Kobus Wiese het dit. Transvaal lyk gevaarlik, doellyn van WP wat wink. Adlam het dit, maar daar is aangeslaan. Westelike provinsie kan ingooi.
Eerste keer wat Transvaal voor die dag kom met baie goeie ondersteunende dryfspel, maar soos elke keer gebeur het in hierdie wedstryd, by op die laaste oomblik met 'n aanslaan wat hierdie beweging laat verlore gaan.
Nou, geleentheid vir Westelike provinsie om weg te kom. Stransky moet daardie bal baie goed raakvat. Gerbrand Grobler, ingooi van hom, skepskop poging. Kan nie daar wees nie, Pieter Rousseau is onder dit. Hy is binnekant sy doelgebied. En hy is heel agter wat baie maklik aan die hardloop gaan, maar nie hierdie keer nie. Inskop van die kwartlyn af, Stransky. Transvaal wat hulle kanse sal moet begin gebruik. WP het 9, Transvaal 3, 14 minute verstreke in die tweede helfte. Strooilie kan nie beheer nie. Meneer wat beslis dat Westelike provinsie kan ingooi.
Jammer van die onnodige foute wat gemaak word, want dit verhoed dat die spel werklik aan die gang kom, dat ons werklik vanmiddag kontinuïteit in hierdie spel sien.
Word natuurlik baie druk toegepas aan beide kante. Hierdie hoë van Michael Kirsten, ons het baie daarvan gesien vanmiddag, maar meneer May van Westelike provinsie straf. En die spelers wat moontlik voor die bal was, na die skop van Kirsten. Gerbrand Grobler wat nader geroep word, dit is natuurlijk op sy voet, daar aan die oorkant. Meer as 100 wedstryde vir Noord-Transvaal gespeel. Dan vind jy die kantlyn nie. Stransky gaan seker maak dat hy wel dit doen. Weer eens eintlik 'n fout aan Transvaal se kant, want Gerbrand Grobler sy direk uitgeskop het. Nader aan die doellyn, dit was Transvaal se ingooi, kon dit dalk miskien 'n beter posisie was. Hulle het natuurlik nog steeds die ingooi na die uitskop van Stransky, maar is miskien nie heeltemal so naby aan die doellyn as wat dit kon nie. Transvaal Pienaar. Adlam, Strooilie, Beenhatting, kwartlyn afgeneem deur Laurent Caban. Kom hy na die diskant toe. Sterk hardloper en dan afgeneem deur Bernard Fourie. Na Japie Mulder. En is Mulder na die diskant toe en dan word dit onderskep deur Vloksel hier op die laaste oomblik. En weer eens is dit Weselike provinsie wat asemhaal en Transvaal wat nie kan afrond nie.
Dit is seker die eerste keer die beste wat dit gebeur het. 3 keer na mekaar waar die aanval omgeskep word en verdediging deurdat die bal onderskep word deur die opponente.
Dis Japie Mulder, die laaste man wat die bal hanteer het voordat dit weer onderskep is deur Vloksel hier. 16 minute verstreke. Dis 9-3. Die ingooi van Rousseau. Adlam. Reëse wedstryd, Weselike provinsie, Transvaal, Curriebeeker. Punte is belangrik vanmiddag. Span wat vanmiddag verloor, sy kanse raak al skraler. Gavin Johnson, Transvaal Pienaar. Transvaal gaan hom soek. Meneer May is nie tevrede nie. Kom na die diskant toe, strafskop aan Transvaal.
Transvaal en na die losgemaal vorentoe beweeg het, is dit die WP wat van die verkeerde kant van die losgemaal kom bind het. En Transvaal wat daar die geleentheid gehad het om beide kante te speel, kry die voordeel van die strafskop. As jy kyk na die strafskoppe van die toespanne toegeken op hierdie stadium, aan WP 9 en aan Transvaal 3. En in die ander skoppe wat na verwys word, is skepskoppe wat ook nie suksesvol was nie.
Gavin Johnson is 'n baie belangrike skop hierdie. Net buite die 22 meter lyn. Hy het 'n lang skop gehad die van binnekant sy halfgebied wat nie die kol getref het nie. Maar die ander een het hy nie 'n fout gemaak nie. Nou kom ons kyk. Wat kan hy met hierdie ene maak? Redelik skuins van die kantlyn af, hy het hom goed getref. En hierdie man maak nie maklike fout op alles park nie. Voeg 3 punte by. En Transvaal kom so 'n bietjie nader. 22 minute se speeltyd wat oorbly in hierdie wedstryd en daar is 3 punte verskil.
Mens wonder op hierdie stadium op die patroon gevolg van word van die vorige 2 wedstryde is dat Transvaal wat terugkom en geweldige druk op die WP plaas en hulle dwing tot foute.
Baie diep afgeskop deur Stransky. Adlam kry dit. Agtertoe na Gavin Johnson. Verlede Saterdag in so 'n posisie skop afgestorm deur Joos van der Westhuizen. Hierdie keer maak hy seker dat dit nie weer gebeur nie. Dis 'n bal wat baie ver getrek het, maar nie so ver uit was nie. Kortlyn staan deur Weselike provinsie. Kobus Wiese en Philip Skutte. Teenoor Blom en Caban. Stransky kry dit. Gary Peigel dan beskikbaar stel. Transvaalse verdediging wat beproef word. En dan 'n strafskop van Weselike provinsie voor Transvaalse pale. Hy daarna Transvaal Pienaar. Sien ek nie op sy voete gebly nie. Pienaar kan dit nie glo nie. En Joe Stransky sê baie dankie, ek gaan pale toe skop om te kyk of ons nie daardie punte wat Gavin Johnson sopas aangeteken het as dit ware kan neutraliseer nie.
Stransky sal wel seker maak vir hierdie strafskop. Baie belangrik vir die WP dat hulle die voorsprong van 3 punte op hierdie oomblik kan hek na 6 punte toe, veral op hierdie stadium van die wedstryd waar 20 minute van die spel in die tweede helfte sopas verby is.
Ouder gewoonte die wyntjie so 'n bietjie getoets. Maar is reg voor die pale, 'n reguitskop. Stransky het gekonsentreer, kan kwalike fout maak met daardie ene tussen die pale deur. Hy draf tevrede terug. Die Weselike provinsie is weer 'n bietjie verder voor.
WP wat daar indryf. Keith Andrews op die laaste oomblik wat daar ingaan met mag en mening en dan 'n Transvaaler wat op die grond lê en die bal speel.
Ja, dit is dan Weselike provinsie wat 12-6 voorloop. 20 minute se speeltyd wat oorbly net binne die kwartgebied van Weselike provinsie. Kirsten Stransky en hy gaan seker maak dat hy Transvaal weer ver terugjaag. En van hierdie lang is vinnig ingegooi deur Gerbrand Grobler. En van sy kant af Weer die WP met rente terugstuur. Pieter Rousseau binnekant sy doelgebied. Ja, dit is so saak in hierdie stadium lyk. 19 minute se speeltyd wat oorbly. WP is voor met 12 punte teenoor 6 en tot aan die einde van die wedstryd Gavin Cowley en Chick Henderson.
19 minutes left, and Chick, believe me, I think we've got a game on our hands here. Western Province leading by 12 points to 6. Those are all penalties, no tries today. Will they come in this last quarter? Yako low. Jock quickly gets away from the opposition. Didn't link up well. Pienaar comes through. There's good play by Francois Pienaar. Took the men away from him. Udlam can't control. Stransky. Long kick from Joel Stransky. Can Stransky? Can't pick it up. That was an early knock-on from him.
Very tempting, Gavin. The right thing to do, of course, is to try to keep it, booting it forward, and it popped up, unfortunately for Stransky, just too far ahead of him. He reached out to try and grab it, and he got his fingers to it, but it went forward. But he came through very quickly indeed, and very well. You'll be Adlin sort of juggling with the ball, and that's Stransky booting it ahead. Watch it pop up, and there he got his hands to it, but tantalizingly for him, just went off.
While we were watching that, Gavin Johnson has brought some relief for Transvaal. FC Smith, Johan Kapp, Tian Strauss coming into picture. He wants reserves to be tapped today as Francois Pienaar needs it from Transvaal. Ball not in straight.
On quite a few occasions of the ball not going in straight, which is really very stupid because there's no wind to talk of.
Certainly died down in the second half. Adlam, good work by Gerrit Combrink. Johnson, the little tap. Well taken by Blom. Well, an indiscretion from Transvaal, coming in on the wrong side. In fact, Chick, that might even have been an offside position by them, because that's what tends to happen from those short kicks where you in an offside position and you've got to immediately move away, but players were caught within that 10-meter radius.
Yes, it happened so quickly because Gavin Johnson, little kick ahead, and it happened to be taken out of the air by Blom, and it all happens so quickly that players don't have time to realise that they are in an offside position, in fact. And here's an opportunity for Stransky. If he can put this over, of course, it'll mean Transvaal will have to score at least twice in order to get a lead. 6 points the difference now.
Well, that's such an important psychological blow that would be dealt if Stransky gets this over. There was no side has really looked like scoring tries today. That's gone wide. 6 points is still attainable. Converted try will push Transvaal into the lead. So a bit of juggling behind the 22. Pienaar, Karen Krobler, and Johnson with a hoist. Combrink can't pick up. This is Rousseau. He's a lively young hooker. Is Chris Rousseau. Good running by him. Was that a knock-on? Flock Cilliers. Long kick from Cilliers. Those are called safety kicks. They go over the goal line, and back will come for that 22 again. Or has Krobler got something up his sleeve again? Watch him. No.
Of course, Western Province will be quite happy to keep Transvaal kicking out for the 22 because Western Province have got the points on the board and Transvaal has still got to get them.
Well, those are the chances you take in the game of rugby. One has to admire them. A person using his instinctive feel on that occasion, Kevin Krobler, but this is Chester Williams, and this is what happens with those sort of indiscretions. A great try for Western Province.
And doesn't he look happy about it? Chester Williams, about the biggest smile on his face that you could ever see. That's Morne Visser next to him, and certainly he is a great opportunist, is Chester Williams. Western Province fans, of whom there are quite a lot in the crowd here, going absolutely mad. Well, this is how it happens. There's the quick throw in, and coming through quickly, Morne Visser into the hands of Chester Williams, and he did the right thing. He took no chances, grounding the ball.
It's a very cruel game, this Chick, because if that kick of Problis had gone into Jaco Louw's hands, he might have had a good clear run on the outside. You take your chances. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Stransky, he's going to lose. It's past the right-hand upright.
There's still 5 points and a very important lead, 17 points to 6. And that's the first and only try of the match so far.
Well, he's had a great season, has Chester Williams not. Really such good quick thinking by him. Morne Visser as well, who would have been the man to normally have thrown it in. And Williams with a finish. He's been a great servant of South African rugby at provincial and international level this season, has Chester Williams. But watch Transvaal. Good pass on the outside to Bernard Fourie, but he's been cut off. With solid tackling by Tinus Lindy and Christian Stewart in the midfield. Well, Transvaal, they're not finished yet. Quick tap kick again from Yopi Adlam. One wonders if they shouldn't have kicked it goal, but they want to cross the Western Province goal line. Western Province were not 10 metres. Adlam again to Cobus Visser. Once again, the players were not back 10 metres, and will Transvaal now just tap this over? They seem fully intent, Chick, on crossing the goal line and scoring a try, but really, at this point in time, there's 12 minutes left in the match, and the difference is, of course, 11 points, but they do need to score points.
And I think also at this point they've certainly lost the surprise element, and when you're playing against a very organised defence, as they will be obviously when there's only 20 yards to go to the line, I think it's far better to take the 3 points. That'll narrow the gap, and there's still, as you say, 12 minutes to go.
Well, our friend the caterer, I'm sure, will be on his feet shortly. He's defended really well in this game, as Joel Stransky, and the great defence of Western Province will be evident. It's not easy stopping a charging Buffalo like that. Tackle, tackle, tackle is what Western Province have had to do for a lot of this match, and they've done it so well. Once again, they take the tap kick. Philip Skitter. Ian Hutton. Hutton does well to initially stay on his feet. They'll want the release now, will Transvaal. Now Western Province deciding to take the liberty of just holding on the ground. I know they've got that lead cushion at the moment. It's not a great one, but Cobus Visser comes through. Adlam, long pass out. This is good running by Rudolph Strowley. Is Strowley going to make it? No, he's not. Back again. Great tackle by Morne Visser, Gerbrand Grobler, Johnson. This is Bernard Fourie, and Jaco Louw will score. Well, Chick, did it not have to eventually come? It's so difficult to defend 3, 4, 5 thrusts at the line, and Transvaal will be heartened that they've scored after having 3 opportunities of kicking at goal.
Yes, and it certainly gets them going again. Let's watch this again. That is big Philip Scotty. He's taken down straight away. Referee waiting for advantage. That looked a bit offside, and good refereeing, because here is the saw coming. Jaco Louw going over, and it was Western Province feeling that they could afford to give away penalties with the lead they had. Transvaal determined to try to get 5 points or 7 points, and it's Gavin Johns to see if he can make it 7 instead of the 5 which they've already got.
That right foot of his has been known as a magic one. It's a good strike by Johnson. No. One try apiece from the men marking each other today, Jaco Louw and Chester Williams. 6 points the difference.
Here it is with Stroily getting so close. Stroily just held up, and managing to push it back. That's good second phase. And Morne Visser going over the offside line. Johnson and Bernard Fourie giving it out to Yakolo.
Visser was the man to carry in there for Western Province. Stransky, Christian Stewart, Tian Strauss. Good play by them. Good quick release as well. Peter Rousseau. Floxiliers. Peter Rousseau. All sorts of pressure for Transvaal, but February Kobler was out. There certainly is enormous support here for Western Province at Ellis Park. If one gauges by the shouting of the crowd, 9 minutes left in the match. Rudolf Strauli, Johan Kapp, that's Cobus Visser again. He's certainly been in the thick of things, Cobus Visser.
And a pretty vital line-out for Western Province. They've done so well when they've had their own throw-in. They've used Caban at the back. FC Smith's been very good, but they want possession here because another try would sew it up for Western Province.
Well, they needed a good throw-in, which they've got, and this is Pagel. Blom takes in. Incredible defence from both sides in this game. Western Province, have they chosen the right option? Stransky, Rousseau, tackled by Francois Pinard. Well, this is a reverse situation of what Western Province had to succumb to eventually just now, but that's good play by Transvaal in getting it away. Floxiliers is back. He's outside his 22. Cilliers trying to run with it. That's dangerous for Western Province. Well, Tian Strauss's words were to Floxiliers, we should have got rid of it, but Floxiliers also wanted to have a little bit more support, back a little bit quickly in case of the launch of the counter-attack. But a lot of captains would have said it's safety first tactics at this stage of the game. 7 minutes left. We've got a cushion of a 6-point lead. Let's go and play our rugby in their half of the field.
And Zondag looking very worried, but I think Transvaal doing the right thing here, Gavin, taking the penalty at goals, because that'll put the difference much closer. It'll be 14-17.
Well, Chick, I tell you, there's a temptation to have run and scored a try there because they would have been in the lead, but that's sanity and Johnson's accurate boot.
So the only difference in the scores is that drop goal by Stransky, because each side has scored a try and 3 penalties, and the extra 3 points is Stransky's drop goal, which is the first score of the match.
Well, I think most of us are aware of the log positions, and I don't think a draw would do the cause of Western Province or Transvaal any good at all. Win one side must. 17 points to 14, Western Province lead. Bernard Fourie. Transvaal back in the Western Province half again. Well, that's good play there by Bernard Fourie. Not trying anything fancy, knowing that he has to play in the Western Province 22. Not much in the possession statistics. Of course, territorially in the first half, it belonged to Transvaal. Credit to FC Smith and the Western Province team for some solid defence. Philip Skitter goes through that line out. Very untidy.
Tremendous tension in the crowd as well as on the field. Left the play 5 minutes, 3 points to difference.
Strauli picks up from inside the scrum. We're in the stage of the game now where all the players have to keep cool heads on those shoulders of theirs. Stransky. Well, of course, that was a penalty kick, which means Morne Visser will throw in for Western Province. And Tian Strauss will hope that it's with accuracy. That's the Western Province bench. Tense game for them. Blom's pass is intercepted, tap is intercepted by Skitter. Then it's Visser. He's so active with those driving runs. Plenty of Transvaalers, but once again, Western Province come away with a kick through by Stransky. Kobler picks up well. It was good play by Gerbrand Kobler. And what a great kick by him, staying in field. Back for it, Floxeliers, Peter Rousseau. Oh, Chick really to turn defence into attack and really put pressure on Western Province. It's been thrilling in respect of the play moving back and forth over the field during this match.
Well, that was certainly a great counter-attack and splendid work by Floxelier, keeping the ball in so Peter Rousseau could get it out, at least not inside his own 22-metre. Watch this, he dives to keep it in, he knocks it inside, and Peter Rousseau then has time to clear.
The throw into Visser was skew. Pagel, Visser, Keith Andrews, Tian Strauss says, come on, we need this ball, we need it badly. Stransky.
Well, I think it's those little unforced errors that have cost Transvaal. There was a case where they had the throw in and the crooked throw. There have been other cases with slightly unforced knock-ons and mistakes. Transvaal have made more than they would have liked to, and Western Province really have made rather fewer mistakes of the simple nature.
That's Philip Skitter. He's at the back of the line out. Between him and Visser, they get it back. That's good running by Bernard Fourie. He's a very straight runner, is Bernard Fourie. Strong man too. And that's what happens if you run straight and keep possession. Peter Hendricks goes in. Well, playing the ball with their hands in that ruck and maul situation there. Bali Swart. Western Province did not retire 10 metres. Big decision now for Francois Pienaar. He sees there's only 2 minutes left. If you want to be in Gavin Johnson's shoes right now, Chick.
Well, I would say if I was in a team and I had anybody to trust with a kick like this, I'd rather trust it to Gavin Johnson than almost anybody. He's a very cool customer. He's reliable chap, and I think he's up to it.
Well, if it's any consolation, he's certainly been improving in his strike rate as the match has progressed. That's a good strike by him. It curls in enough. 17 points all.
On the stopwatch, there's about 1 minute left, but there has been a bit of extra time that could be played. There have been a few stoppages, a couple of injuries, and I think there could be a total of about 3 minutes left if the referee decides to do that.
Well, there's a lot of nervous people in the stadium, and many of you at home there as well. Stransky's kick taken by Adlam. He's been very effective today as Joppie Adlam for Transvaal. Once again, trying to dart through. This is a kick through by Michael Kirsten. Gerbrand Kobler. Always looking for an opportunity to do something. And his captain won't want him to try anything fancy at the moment.
I think Transvaal would like to get into the opponent's half, because there's always the problem of the odd penalty kick, and if you're in your own half, then you've got a problem.
Well, what will Rousseau do? He's going to try and run, but he's got a wall of Transvaalers in front of him. But once again, dangerous by them. Early knock-on coming from Transvaal. Check, it's the second time now that Peter Rousseau has tried to run his way out of trouble, but no support from Western Province. They didn't come back to allow him to counter-attack and get in an early pass. But Transvaal on the attack, Western Province have the ball. Johan Kapp standing off the scrum. Kirsten. Up, Kapp can't take. All sorts of pressure. This is Johnson. This is Joel Stransky. Well, this is a penalty try that's been given there for Joel Stransky. I fancy pushing Gavin Johnson away from the ball as he went for it. And we've got absolute pandemonium on the field. The crowd have rushed on.
Gavin, it gives us a chance perhaps to tell those of our viewers who don't know what the law is in a penalty try. If the ball is, if there's a situation like Gavin Johnson, let's watch and see if we can pick it up. That's his pressure put on Kirsten by Adlam. Here's the ball bouncing around, Francois Pienaar, and that's the ball now, booted over the field. Now, would Johnson otherwise have scored? Yes, he's barged away from the ball. The referee has decided that if Stransky had not barged in like that, a try probably would have been scored. Now, 15 years ago, the law said undoubtedly. Now it's probably. There's go Johnson, and he's knocked out of the way. And the referee was in a good position and has decided that if that infringement had not taken place, a try would probably have been scored, and a penalty try is always given under the posts. And as I was saying, some years ago, the law said that it had to be that the try would undoubtedly have been scored, and then some years ago it was changed, and the word probably was put in. The referee decided that if Stransky had not pushed Johnson, when Johnson was not in possession of the ball, that Johnson probably would have scored, and that almost certainly will sew it up for Transvaal, because we've had on my stopwatch 42.5 minutes. Of course, all this crowd running on the field will be deducted from the time, so the referee could decide that there still is a couple of minutes to go in this match. And I see some of the Western Province players are already leaving the field, and Gavin Johnson has this formality to convert from in front of the post.
Well, that is a formality for Johnson, and dear Joel Stransky, did you do that on purpose? Johnson's conversion over, and that'll be victory for Transvaal by 24 points to 17 in this fixture. And really, at the end of the day, one fancies that Transvaal did enough.
Wat vanoggend om maar die span het onttrek het as gevolg van 'n besering. Gerbrand, hoe het dit gebeur?
So 'n klein ongelukkig gewees gistermiddag. Ons het warm gemaak na 'n uur se skopwerk, ek en Gavin wat dit gedoen het, en ongelukkige ligte kuitspierbesering opgedoen. Ek hoop nie dit is te ernstig nie. Die dokter sê hopelik sal dit nie te ernstig wees nie.
Die tydsberekening, jy moet veg vir jou plek teen 'n springbok wat stoot Theo van Rensburg.
Ja, dit is wat dit lekker maak van hierdie wedstryde en van rugby. Jy ou moet altyd kompetisie en so aan. Maar dis ongelukkigheid, maar can't keep a good man down, soos hulle sal sê.
Gerbrand, jy het by 2 geleenthede van die jaar teen die Oostelike Provinsie gespeel. Beide geleenthede was dit 'n baie goeie wedstryd tussen albei spanne geweest. Die eerste, die OP gewen baie naalskrap. Die OP, wanneer hulle aan die gang kom, 'n baie goeie span en 'n moeilike span om te klop.
Ja, ek dink OP is een van daai spanne, as jy nie die regte patroon teen hulle speel nie, kan hulle 'n baie moeilike span raak. Een ding wat ek ook geleer het van hulle oor die jare is jy kan hulle met 40-50 punte wen as jy bo is, maar anders kan jy regtig die dag as hulle goed gaan, kan jy weer 'n pak slaag kry, maar altyd met 'n punt of 2, maar jy kan hulle met 40-50 punte wen. So ek hoop net ons het hard geoefen. Ons het 'n goeie patroon wat voor lê, en so ons hoop dit gaan goed. Veral met daai 2 wedstryde wat ons teen hulle al klaar gespeel het, weet ons presies wat nou aangaan.
Hoeveel druk voel die Transvaal spelers op hierdie stadium, want dit is 'n maak of breek wedstryd vir nie net Transvaal nie, maar vir verskeie ander spanne in die land ook?
Ja, David, kyk, dit is baie moeilik, want op die einde van die dag kyk ou daarna as 'n semi-finaal, jy weet. Jy kan amper basies sê dis 'n finaal, want as jy hier uitval, wie weet wat gebeur vanmiddag later met ander wedstryde. Ek voel net 'n ou wil nie betrokke raak in uitspelwedstryde en so net. Dit fisies en geestelik gaan dit baie vat van die manne. So ek dink is 'n do or die situation, soos hulle sal sê.
Gerbrand, baie dankie. Ons hoop daardie besering is nie te ernstig nie. Gerbrand wat dan vervang word deur Theo van Rensburg for the first 20 minutes of this game. Let's join our English commentators this afternoon, Gavin Cowley, and with him Tony Watson.
Well, a welcome here from the commentary box at the Boetie Erasmus Stadium in Port Elizabeth. That's the weather today, and a glorious day for rugby. Hardly any wind to speak of, and that's very often a concern for players down here in Port Elizabeth, but a lovely day for rugby, and of course this crucial encounter and perhaps the final hurdle for the Transvaal team. That's Ray Mort there in the middle, and very difficult situation for him because having to take over from Kitch Christie at this late stage of the season. But he believes that he's got the charges with him. And second from the left, Tito Lupini, who former Transvaal player, former Italian player, who is now the assistant coach for the Transvaal team. The Transvaal team with Van Rensburg at the back replacing Grobler, as we'd heard. Peter Hendricks will be chasing and trying to up that Transvaal record of 74 tries, which he has. And of course, interesting, they're having Henny LaRue in the midfield alongside Yapi Mulder. There'll be a lot of eyes on Henny LaRue because a lot of people believe that that is his true position when he's playing for his province and South Africa. Of course, Johnson will want to improve on his general game at fly half. He kicked rather admirably last week, but he's got Yopi Adlam alongside him, who had a very good game against Western Province last week. And then, of course, that Transvaal pack, a juggernaut pack led by Francois Pienaar and Philip Schutte, who's having a really good season. But Cobus Visser has also given sign to the rest of the locks in South Africa as he came on last week that he certainly also is searching for a place in the South African side. Dr. Louis Late, and behind him, Rian Oberholzer. So we've heard from Gerbrand Krobler just what an enigma the Eastern Province side can be. Of course, only beaten once at home this season. A strong team on their day if they can put it together, and captained today by Audrey Geldenhuys, Elandre van der Berg in his 75th match for Eastern Province, playing in the position that a lot of people believe he could play for South Africa, but also a very, very big pack. Harry Roberts comes in, former Springbok, in the hooker position, and he's a big, strong man as well. But it's the Eastern Province backs that will really be wanting to stretch their legs today. They've scored a lot of tries amongst them, and they'll be pleased with the fact that Bertus Creer is back at fly half in his true position, but also perhaps a little disappointed that Garth Wright has had to withdraw from this match, and young Stephen Aylward will be playing at scrum half. With me today, former Natal wing Tony Watson. And Tony, interestingly enough, Transvaal last week, one felt maybe just over-elaborated a little bit, and they spent a lot of time in the Western Province half of the field without scoring, and that might be some source of concern for them.
Well, absolutely, Gavin. Just having a look at the team sheets there, you can see that Transvaal boasting 11 Springboks in their lineup, 10 of them are test players. Eastern Province, on the other hand, have 2 Springboks in their side. And it's going to be a clear indication today of how many of these test players will be going on to make their further commitments to South African rugby later in the season. As you spoke earlier of their team commitment, it seems to me that Henny LaRue is going to need to rely on the players outside him, and certainly Gavin Johnson, to assist him in his positional play today. Playing at centre, not quite accustomed to the position. And obviously Kits Christie is going to be looking for some encouraging aspects from his game. But playing at Boet Erasmus, I can tell you, having played here many times, it's the Lions' Den, and Eastern Province will realize that this is their last bite at the cherry, and who knows, they might just be the team to upset the apple cart.
Well, Audrey Geldenhuys, the captain today, we saw the little thumbs up to our cameraman as he came out, and he'll be heartened by the fact that EP beat Transvaal 30 points to 28 in that Currie Cup match on the 23rd of July this year up at Ellis Park. The referee today, the 38-year-old Mr. Pierre Lombard from Natal. He'll be refereeing his 48th first-class match, which includes 3 internationals as well, and Bertus Creer will be the man with the kickoff. First 10 minutes of the match so vital for both sides to stamp their ascendancy. Eastern Province coming away with it. They'll certainly be heartened by the fact that Harry Roberts is in the side. He's a great driving forward, is Harry Roberts. Penalty given against the Transvaalers for being in an offside position. Referee Lombard allowed a little bit of advantage. There was none, and this first chance for Creer. Tony, he's kicked very well this season, has Bertus Creer.
Well, he's been one of the kingpins in this Eastern Province side, virtually emerging from nowhere at the beginning of the season. And as you mentioned earlier, Eastern Province, one of the few sides in the Currie Cup competition that have scored a lot of tries. And quite clearly the advantage going to Eastern Province there, with Bertus Kruger having a up and under that really he doesn't want to start the game thinking about.
'91 Currie Cup points under his belt this season. Only overshadowed by 3 other men, including his opposite number today, Gavin Johnson. A distinct kicking style from Creer. Has he curled enough? Yes, it has. Well, first blood to Eastern Province, and so often it's been said that they're a great side in the first 20 minutes, but it's the last 20 minutes that have very often been the problem area for the province down here. Johnson with a restart. Always Scutters there first. Uli Schmidt is there first, playing his 183rd first-class match. Uli Schmidt, that's a wonderful record. His kick not out. Well taken by Peter Hendricks. He's a big, strong man, is Peter Hendricks. Wild pass out. One of the things with young Yuppie Adlam there with the number 9 on his back is he carries on the tradition of strong scrum halves from the Transvaal. Big day for Stephen Aylward. As we've found with most of the matches during the season, not too much difference between the scrum weights, but Eastern Province scrumming early. Adlam gets the message from his captain, Pinar, with a drive through. Meets quite some resistance there from the Eastern Province side. Once again, the quick pickup. This is Barley Swart. He's running away from his fellow players, but they back in quickly again. Visser. Adlam. There will be some people that will question that, but the charge down comes from Bertus Creer. Theo van Rensburg came down from Johannesburg this morning. Marshall's pass. Andries Fourie. Well taken by Gerrit Combrink. Peter Hendricks is saying, look, I haven't had enough of the ball this season. I'm going to run it every opportunity, Johnson. This is, of course, where Transvaal are dangerous.
Well, some exciting moments of play from Transvaal there, and just looking back at that moment there where Peter Hendricks took the ball from his forward, and he was standing outside the 22 and had no option but to run out of trouble, and really Transvaal should have done better with that opportunity.
Well, it's good to see some confidence coming back into Peter Hendricks' game. Creer, it's a big kick from Baptist Creer. Backcourt Jaco Low. Just very casually passing it back to Theo van Rensburg.
Well, there can be no doubting that Theo will be saying to Jaco Low, give it to me quicker.
Well, quick is very often the operative word with Jaco Low's plays. Former provincial athlete and a man of great pace, as we've said on many occasions. Hasn't really had a lot of opportunities this season. Perhaps more of them have gone to the left wing, which is the more natural passing side for the back lines, down to Peter Hendricks. Sloppy line out, but quick release to Stephen Aylward. Interesting combination that Eastern Province have today with Mark Wood, Elandre van der Berg, and the bustling Harold Carelli at the back. Very, very strong, and of course Mark Wood is the man who'll be looking to try and get to the point of breakdown as quickly as he can, but it's all Transvaal at the moment. Transvaal certainly getting the possession.
Well, they're getting a lot of possession, but not able to get out of their own half at the moment, and Gavin Johnson will be ruining the fact that he didn't just play that safe and possibly take play right down into the Eastern Province half.
Knock-on coming from Eastern Province in that line out. Rudolf Strali for Transvaal on the near side. Francois Pinard on the open side. His regular position for his province and his country. Ruby Adler would want that scrum to be a little bit straighter, otherwise he's going to be under pressure. Combrink making sure that he gives good coverage. Just watch where he's scrumming. Johnson's kicked safely out, and Johnson surely will have a lot of attention on him today from the Eastern Province side.
Well, there can be no doubting that. And just going back to that scrum that we had there, where Eastern Province, you could see, were very well settled into a pattern of play, and obviously Coach Alex Wiley instilling in them the New Zealand getting to the breakdown quickly, forming up a position.
Well, Skitter's the man eventually with a take in the line out. Transvaal looking for the initial thrust, and last week perhaps they over-elaborated on that. That's a better release from them. Long pass down, Yapi Mulder fails to find the men on his outside. So important to have that vision on left and right, but at least the Transvaal getting the penalty.
Well, interesting again from Gavin Johnson. They're not quite hitting the sweet spot of that ball this afternoon. And in the slow motion, you can see that Henny LaRue skipped out. Yapi Mulder takes a long pass, and all of those EP players going in, and obviously one of them going in over offsides.
Well, one fancies that Transvaal's game plan will operate around denying possession to Eastern Province as much as possible, also minimizing their error base. Elwood's hoisting comes Theo van Rensburg. That's beautifully taken by the Springbok fullback. There's often been question marks posed against Theo van Rensburg's ability at the back under pressure, but believe me, he's not scared to go in and take those high kicks. Alex Wiley, coach of Eastern Province. Rensburg taking a knock on his left shoulder.
And here we see outstanding take by Theo van Rensburg. Doesn't take his eye off the ball, and you can see those ESP forwards just piling in.
Roberts' throw against his former teammates. Back for it is Francois Pienaar. Adlam. Odd tackle there on Gavin Johnson. Just look how well Transvaal did up until that point. Retain possession, find a man in a better position, but Uli Schmidt has got quite a lot to say to the touch judge.
Well, that's nothing new for Uli to be talking to his players and to the touch judge, but Transvaal just battling to get that continuity flowing. Once the ball's out on the outside, they're battling to bring it back to their forwards to keep that continuous play.
Well, ball retention and support is vital in that aspect of the game. Nico Meyer in the middle for Eastern Province, can't take cleanly. That's the pressure that Stephen Aylward doesn't want in these early stages of the game. Pienaar the last man to go in, and Yuppie Adlam. Well, perhaps just a lack of rhythm on both sides, as mentioned by you, Tony.
42, 67.
Relative inexperience at the base of both scrums today. Johnson's first goes somewhat the same direction as Bertus Kria's first one. LaRue was the last man out, also against his former teammates today. Started his provincial career in the position he's in today.
Well, again, you saw Gavin Johnson not hitting the ball very, very sweetly, and obviously cause for concern. He is a kingpin in this Transvaal side, and the game plan obviously dictates that he keeps EP pinned in their own half.
Well, that is going to require a fair bit of kicking from him. The early release to Hendricks is not collected. Well, we heard of Karban Krobler talking of the cutting down the errors and keeping Eastern Province pinned in the early stages of the game, but just these little errors and the finishing off not there for Transvaal today, but good defensive work by Eastern Province. Nico Meyer in the middle of the line out. Up front, it's Audrey Geldenays. Halford with a tap through. This is good running by Uli Schmidt. Pass inside there to Francois Pienaar, but that pass was forward.
And again, Gavin, as you saw there, Transvaal making something out of nothing, but not able to continue it. And quite obviously, this has been their strength, where they've played as a team, 15 men, being able to retain that possession.
It's better play from Aylward, although he didn't gain the sort of ground he would have wanted to. It took the pressure off his fly half. Quite a number of short lineouts we saw from Transvaal last week. They continue with that today. Skitters at the back. He's a big man, Skitter. That's the little tap to Adlam. He's very nippy. Johnson going in the opposite direction. Can't take that pass. Kriya once again just screwing off his boot somewhat. and Cleveland also not able to gather. Very scrappy play from both sides, but the Transvaal side was once again in an offside position in the midfield. Here's the bounce is not lucky for him. Van Rensburg. Good play by Eastern Province. And then Kriya makes amends.
Well, at the start of the game, Gavin, you were talking about the weather conditions and there being little wind to speak of at Boet Erasmus today, which is quite unique. And yet we've seen some abysmal kicking from both sides. Neither fly half nor full back has really been able to capitalize on the advantage given to them.
Cooper's Visser in the front of the line out for Transvaal. Skitter with a tap. Well done by Visser to clean that up. Lee Schmidt running across the field. LaRue running beautifully off the ball. Pinar. Mulder going in. Pinar once again always present there on that loose ball. The Eastern Province players going over the top.
Well, that's often a tricky situation when the players go to ground, Gavin, and there's very little way that you can release the ball, but quite clearly Mark Wood came over the top there and obstructed the ball from coming out on the Transvaal side.
Well, the players are all familiar with the law in terms of staying on your feet. I know that a lot of the players complain at times and say, well, they just literally get taken off their feet by the men joining the rucks and mauls as they fly in.
Well, there can be no doubt that you viewers at home will be also possibly a little bored by the proceedings out there on the field this afternoon. And it's definitely a needle match here at Boet Erasmus Stadium. Both sides realizing that a victory for them today would ensure greater things later on. And the Currie Cup final merely a week away. Who knows, we may have 3 or 4 matches this week.
Well, of course, that would involve Transvaal as well, and they certainly don't want that. They'd like to settle it today because a victory will take them through to the Currie Cup final against Orange Free State. Johnson with an opportunity to get that rhythm of his back. 122 Currie Cup points he has this season. Strikes that well, does Johnson, safely through. Big Philip Skitter, very often the kingpin of the catches, over his head. Adlam unable to control. Very, very sloppy play on both sides. There was a knock on there, so they'll scrum down with Eastern Province ball. Interestingly, a lot of tries this season for Eastern Province have been scored by a variety of their outside backs, which is a good sign for them in respect of the quality of ball that they've got very often in their home matches. This is Bertus Krieger's drop. Is it safely there? Yes, it is.
Well, just as we were talking about the inconsistency of these kickers this afternoon, Bertus Krieger proved us wrong and slots a super drop goal.
It's been a very steadying influence for Eastern Province this season, having come down from the Northern Transvaal. Johnson with a pinpoint kick. Aylwood once again choosing to take the kick himself, but there's a penalty against Transvaal for being offside at the ruck. That's a wonderful kick from Krier. Well, he's starting to, it's amazing how with a little kick like this it can just really change your game.
Well, absolutely. Look at him strike that drop goal sweetly. Straight through the middle of the uprights, no doubting.
So much of rugby is, of course, in the mind as well. Your belief that you can kick that ball over like he did there. And there's the Transvaalers charging through that line out. Fancies that penalty was against Francois Pienaar.
Well, that was also one of the elements that's recently come out of the Transvaal play. And we see the inconsistency of their forwards going up across the line of the line out there, and quite clearly the advantage going to Eastern Province. But they have been a little bit inconsistent, probably a little bit indisciplined at times. And one has seen Francois Pienaar often taking his players in hand and just talking to them and encouraging them to keep their mind on focus.
Well, there might be a lot of questions about just why that penalty was given against Transvaal. Seemingly not too much danger in the tackle. Krier from his favourite side. Struck that well as Bertus Krier certainly got his kicking boots on today.
Well, as we said earlier, Transvaal arriving with a team packed with Springboks, and you can see at Boet Erasmus that means nothing.
Tony Watson, you'll speak from experience in that respect as well. Wild tap going back on the Eastern Province side. That's just watch how well Krier makes sure of getting himself in the right position, and then the big kick downfield. Bit of confidence from the Transvaalers in respect of their throwing, and Uli Schmidt would like to see those statistics, and Cobus Visser and Philip Schutte will be happy with them. Not blotted on this occasion either. Every time they've tapped, there's been somebody to clean it up very quickly, which is so critical. Johnson's long kick downfield. It's actually ended up being a rather good kick, but can Andries Fourie reply with some interest? Well, Transvaal, I think, Tony, are very well set in terms of just changing their line-out patterns. Once again, we're into a short line-out, and they're using Philip Schutte at the back, which is a very good ploy, because they've got a strength in the front and at the back, and that allows the breakaways. Adlam, Schutte, and through comes Audrey Geldnys, doing good work for Eastern Province. Schmidt Johnson taking it back inside to big Rudolf Strowley. A good option for Transvaal now. Uli Schmidt coming back in again, but the Eastern Province players were going over the top, and in fact right at the end seemingly in an offside position.
Well, very, very good pressure placed on Transvaal by Eastern Province there, but there's just no urgency amongst either of these sides this afternoon. Basically going through the motions, out there enjoying the sunshine, and one feels maybe they should have their costumes on. And there we can see the tap down. Yuppie Adlam just picking his head up, taking his eye off the ball for a second, but the EP hands coming through, and relatively easy position for Gavin Johnson to increase his points record this season.
Well, at the end of the day, all 30 players on the field know that they're not really on King's Beach this afternoon, but in a vital game for Eastern Province, it's to retain a relatively strong record in terms of victories at home, and the Currie Cup beckons for Transvaal, but that's an awful kick from Johnson.
Bertus Krier wat van die kwart en af van inskop vir die oostelike provinsie wat voorloop met 9 punte teenoor 3 na 20 minute in die eerste helfte. En weer Transvaal wat nie die bal kan beheer by hierdie inskop nie. Hulle het gesukkel by die afskoppe ook tot dusver. So die skepskop gekom van Bertus Krier vroeër, Tiny.
Ja, ek moet sê dat Transvaal se voorspelers beheer nie die skoppe na hulle toe nie, en alhoewel Transvaal probeer om die bal 'n bietjie weg te kry van Oostelike provinsie se voorspelers af, moet ek sê dat Oostelike provinsie agter met hulle verdediging besonder goed vaar.
Transvaal doen goed tot dusver in die lyn staan, maar nou sit die OP wat vir hom gaan afneem. Bertus Krier binnekant sy kwartgebied, niks wil vir hom verkeerd loop vandag nie. Dis weer 'n kanonskoot. 'n Skitterende skop van Bertus Krier. Pieter Hendriks kan niks anders te doen nie. En hy is feitelik op die kwartlyn.
Chris, ons moet kyk na in die lyn staan. Transvaal vat absoluut die vlag Hulle staan baie onder die vlag en dan stap hulle as ware oor die voordeellyn partykeer. Hulle is een keer al gestraf daarvoor, maar ons kan 'n bietjie kyk veral hier as dit Ooslip provinsie se bal is.
Nou is dit Olie Schmidt wat kan aangooi. Dis Transvaal se kwartlyn links in beeld. Weer Philip Skutte. Hierdie man speel vir jaar goeie rugby vir Transvaal. Adlam wat van hom wil uitpluk. Transvaal wat so 'n bietjie veld wen, nog steeds gaan hulle vorentoe. Dit lyk goed vir Transvaal. Pieter Hendrik staan nou hier sommer in 'n kort loskakelposisie. Dan sit dan Gavin Johnson. Van nie heeltemal waar hy hom wou gehad het nie. Dis Andries Forrie. Dorian Marshall het teruggeval en hy's binne aan sy kwartgebied gewees en hy skop hom uit feitelik op die middellyn.
Dus ek moet sê dat Johnson tot hierdie eerste 20 minute nie 'n baie gelukkige wedstryd het nie. En ek dink hy moet baie slaan onder druk skop en hy's geneig om met 'n lang skop van agteraf te skop en op loskakel het 'n loskakel partyslaa hierdie vinnige kort skopie nodig en Johnson slaag nie heeltyd daarin.
Die wenkbroue het gelig met Johnson se insluiting as loskakel. Transvaal kan ingooi en in die lyn staan, maar 'n wedstryd wat tot dusver nog nie veel opwinding opgelewer het nie. So mense in ag neem hoe belangrik is hierdie wedstryd. Dis die gebiedsvoordeel Transvaal wat effe voorloop wat dit aanbetref, maar op die tellbord is dit 9-3 in die guns van die OP. Gerard Kombrink. Ren heeltemal die ondersteuning nie. François Pinaar kom nou by, hulle steeds op die middellyn. Adlam kry vir hom. Gavin Johnson op die 10 meter stippellyn. Dis 'n beter skop van hom, maar gaan nie uitwees. Nee, Andries Forrie kry vir hom met die hande. En hy maak seker dat hy hom uitskop, maar Transvaal binne aan die kwartgebied van die OP.
Ek sê Transvaal speel ook met hierdie effense westewind in hulle blaaie en saam in die son en dit kan miskien in die tweede helfte vir al die son kan 'n groot faktor wees.
Dis Philip Skutte. Hy doen goeie werk in die lyn staan en dis Henny Leroux. Een van die min keer wat hy die bal raak. Theo van Rensburg kry vir Japie Miller. Net nie heeltemal die ondersteuning as Theo van Rensburg weer daar. Goeie verdediging weer van die Oostelike provinsie. Waarvan jy gepraat het net tot hy nie. Adlam wat nie heeltemal kan wegkom nie. Transvaal het verveld verloor nadat hulle 'n goeie bal gewen het. Skeieregter gesien daar is nie voordeel nou vir Transvaal nie. Die OP manne daar deur gekom aan die verkeerde kant van die loskram en 'n strafskop aan Transvaal, maar baie goeie verdediging weer die OP.
Ek sê die Oostelike provinsie slaag daarin om vir Transvaal werklik nie geleentheid te gee om oor die voordeellyn te kom met hulle agterspelers nie. Maar Oostelike provinsie moet net waak daarteen dat hulle val nog nie werklik Transvaal se doellyn aan nie. En Transvaal met hierdie bewegings oor die veld sal al hoe meer momentum opbou en dit voorspel niks goed vir OP in die tweede helfte nie.
Aandag was 'n bietjie aan François Pinaar, feitelik die identiese plek waar Gavin Johnson die bal gestel het, waar hy net nou met in sy oë seker een van sy swakste pogings mee probeer het. Wat gaan hy maak met hierdie ene? Kan hy die gaping laat krimp na 3 punte? Dis 'n beter skop van Gavin Johnson, is 3 punte by. Behoort sy selfvertroue so 'n bietjie te herstel. Net die skepdoel wat dan die verskil maak op die oomblik, die skepdoel wat aangeteken is deur Bertus Kreer. Daar is baie gepraat oor hierdie wedstryd, want wat sal gebeur as Transvaal verloor? Die slag kry Transvaal vir hom, maar hy's 'n bietjie vinnig daar uit Adlam se hande uit. Nico Meyer word gestraf, of liewer Adrie Geldenhuys.
Ja, ek dink dis die derde strafskop nou teen Oostelike provinsie vir op die grond lê en dan wanneer die bal aan Transvaal se kant uitgaan die bal te speel. Dit is werklik onnodig om sulke soort strafskoppe af te gee.
En hulle word teruggejaag tot halfpad tussen OP kwartlyn en die middellyn. Dit is wat daarvan gebeur het. Adlam wat wag vir hom. Dan wil hy vir hom daar kry. En jy sien die voet van 'n OP-speler, Adrie Geldenhuys, wat gestraf word. Dis in die middel van die veld. Transvaal kry vir hom. Dis Henny Leroux. Hier kan probleme kom. Olie Schmidt is weer op die vleuel. Theo van Rensburg. Dis nou Olie Schmidt, maar dat was ver vorentoe.
Chris, weer eens, Transvaal wat bereid is om die bal buite te speel, gevolglik vat hulle die druk van hulle voorspelers al weg. Dit is waar Oosterprovinsie op die oomblik wel in 'n wurggreep het. En met hierdie manier van oor die veld speel, alhoewel dit nou nie suksesvol is, kan dit later in die wedstryd momentum gee aan hulle agterspelers.
Dorian Marshall wat goed gedoen het na Bertus Creer. En hy verlig 'n bietjie die druk van die OP. Maar die ingooi in die lyn staan gaan na Transvaal behoort hulle steeds binnekant die halfgebied van die OP.
Jy weet met die manier wat Oosterprovinsie op die oomblik speel, 'n mens kan nie deesdae rugby wen met net skoppe nie, want is 'n 3 gedoel is 7 punte. Dit wil sê 3 skoppe. As jy nie die doellyn ook tussenin aanval nie, is jou kanse om werklik deur te kom in 'n wedstryd nie heeltemal so goed nie.
Spysregter sê dit was skief ingegooi. Teken van meneer Pierre Lombard, skoolhoof van Afrikaans Hoërskool in Durban. Staande naweek die Curriebeeker eindstryd. Daar is meneer Alex Wiley en die OP reserves. Steven Aylward, dis Bertus Creer. Jaco Louw het teruggeval. Binnekant sy kwartgebied. Kry vir Theo van Rensburg. Die OP wat dan goed doen om nou weer binnekant die halfgebied te wees van Transvaal. Ja, die spelers speel natuurlik ook met die een ook seker op insluiting in die Springbok span, Tiny.
Dus ja, ek dink vir 'n man soos die Landery van der Berg is dit 'n besondere belangrike wedstryd. Hy speel teen Rudolf Straulie, 'n man wat al nommer 7 gespeel het vir Suid-Afrika en vir heel wat van die ander spelers ook.
Maar die bal is gewen deur die Landery van der Berg, maar Transvaal het vinnig weer gekom en is te vinnig weer gekom. Betuie meneer Pierre Lombard. Bertus Creer wat stellig pale toe sal skop. Dis die lyn staan.
Chris, ek dink Straulie spring voor van 'n berg in en dan ook met sy skouer in van 'n berg in en dan kom hy nie by die bal uit en gevolglik dan word hy gestraf.
Die afstand wat Bertus Creer mee gaan aanlê. Sy derde poging pale toe, hy was suksesvol met al 2. Geslaag met die skepdoel. Daar is om die OP weer te laat voorloop met 6 punte. Van nog nie miskorrel nie. Aan die 10 tree stippellyn af feitlik wat maak hy met hierdie ene? Hy gaan sy plek inneem. Hy's doodgevrede na die bal tussen die palle weer is en daar's weer 6 punte verskil in hierdie wedstryd. Nog net skoppe. 3 strafdoele en 'n skepdoel vir die OP teenoor die 2 strafdoele van Transvaal.
Ja, vir Bertus Creer loop dinge nou absoluut 100% reg. Sy lynskoppe is goed, sy skoppe na die palle toe nog suksesvol 100%.
En dalk te ver wees, daar sal moet geskram word op die middellyn en daar is min dinge wat 'n span so negatief beïnvloed as daar paspunte aangeteken is.
Hoe meer Johnson foute maak, hoe meer druk sit hy op homself. Sy lynskoppe is nie goed nie, die afskoppe op die oomblik ook nie suksesvol en dit kan later deurwerk na sy skoppe pale toe ook. Selfvertroue wat daarmee heen gaan.
Aylward kry vir Karelle. Transvaal het vir hom goed dopgehou. Net binne kan die halfgebied weer Aylward. Dis Bertus Creer. Hy skop hier teen Henny Leroux vas. Bertus Creer wat pragtig teruggeval het. Andries Forres, die laat 'n groot gaping, daar moet ver gehardloop word, maar net vir hom ongelukkig is die bal direk uit. En François Pinaar het seer gekry. Hy het vir Bertus Creer probeer vang hier nie diskant. Sy nek is nie lekker nie. Sien die spandokter dat 'n Frans Verster is daar by hom. Bal wat afgestorm is deur Henny Leroux. Bertus Creer het dit weer in die hande gekry en François Pinaar was by hom. Daar sit Bertus Creer, François Pinaar is by hom.
So 'n bietjie met die nek in die heup in, maar jy weet 'n man soos Pinaar wat al 'n paar keer hersenskudding opgedoen het, vir hom is dit nie goed om sulke soort skokke te kry.
Theo van Rensburg is ook nie lekker nie. Hy kry ook behandeling aan sy skouer buite beeld, maar François Pinaar gaan sy plek inneem op die 10 meter stippellyn van die oostelike provinsie. Olie Schmidt se ingooi. Was bedoel vir Kobus Wiese, hy kan dit nie kry nie. Gavin Johnson kry vir Henny Leroux. Kort skoppie van Henny Leroux. En Jaco Lou wat hom in die hande kry. François Pinaar kan net nie in die hande kry nie. Skeieregter sê speel voort. Hoop jy kry vir hom Eilbert. En Bertus Creer. Pieter Hendricks is die man wat moet terugval. Is 'n goeie skop keer van Bertus Creer en die hoop jy toeskouers hou daarvan.
Ek sê Transvaal op die oomblik saam met hierdie wyntjie beweeg nie baie goed nie. Die bal baie bietjie weg. Ek dink die manne miskien 'n bietjie nader aan mekaar staan. Tweede helfte sal dit miskien beter gaan wanneer hulle teen hierdie wyntjie speel.
Hy werk hard in die lyn staan op vir Transvaal. Dis Philip Skutte. Voor hom Ian Hatton. En Uli Schmidt se ingooi. Hy gaan weer uitkom danksy Adrie Gelderhuis, maar ek dink Adrie Gelderhuis was aan die verkeerde kant van daardie lyn staan. En die strafskop aan Transvaal. Bring Transvaal weer binne aan die halfgebied van die OP. Dis in die hande van Atlam. Gavin Johnson. Hy word daar nie weer gekry, duidelik vorentoe. Dit was nie baie mooi nie. Daar sit Raymond die afrofter van Transvaal. Ek wonder wat dink hy daarvan. Bertus Creer. Proef Theo van Rensburg, buitekant sy kwartgebied, dan val hy terug tot binnekant sy kwartgebied. Andries Forrie is by hom, Transvaal wat weer moet terugval. Die oostelike provinsie speel vorentoe. Spel wat op die oomblik wissel tussen die twee kwartlyne.
Chris, ek moet sê oostelike provinsie slaag baie goed daarin om wanneer Transvaal met die bal veral agterlangs wil te speel, om druk toe te pas en hulle getalle is goed na die man toe wat die bal moet ontvang.
Dis goeie werk daar deur Eilbert. Bertus Creer. François Pinaar probeer hom skaap vang. Dis Harry Roberts. Man het 97 wedstryde gespeel het vir Transvaal. Hy ken hierdie Transvaalers, maar hy kry net nie vir Dorian Marshall nie. En ons het lyn staan steeds net by die kwartgebied. Slegs sy 4de wedstryd hier vir die oostelike provinsie. 95 kg. Rudolf Stroili. Een toets gespeel van Suid-Afrika vroeger gejaar. Die toer in Nieuw-Zeeland. OP wat hierdie bal in die lyn staan wil wen, dan probeer hulle 'n bietjie oor die voordeellyn kom met hulle voorspelers. Dis die kwartlyn van Transvaal. Hulle doen baie goed op die oomblik. Hierdie klein Eilbert skrimskakel lyk na 'n lewendige kerel. Maar die voorspelers van die opponente besig hou. Bertus Creer. Pragtig daar deur 'n gaping is Rian Potgieter. Kry hom net nie teruggespeel nie, gaan hy terugkom. Dan kom hy uit in die hande van Jopi Atlam. En daar's 'n groot gaping. Andries Forrie is die man wat moet terugval. Atlam het ook vinnig opgekom en Andries Forrie gaan net oor hardloop. En die OP sal wonder wat het daar verkeerd geloop.
Nou, goeie dryfspel hier, die oostelike provinsie se pak voorspelers. Dink Transvaal was omtrent net op die onkant lyn.
Was vinnig ingegooi deur François Pinaar. Henny Leroux. Kan gevaarlik word vir Transvaal hierdie. Andries Forrie wat moet ver terugval. Voorspelers, liewer die spelers van Transvaal is onmiddellik daar, maar gaan hy uitkom aan die OP kant van Transvaal. Het weer beheer daar van Atlam, wag vir hom. Dis Kobus Wiese in 'n skrimskakelposisie na Uli Schmidt, na Henny Leroux. Dis na Japie Mulder, na François Pinaar, na Pieter Hendricks. Keer lê hierdie stoomtrein, nee, hulle keer hom nie. Pieter Hendricks. Sy 75ste drie vir die span van Transvaal, sy 5de in verjaar se Currie-beker kompetisie.
Ek dink dit moes een of ander tyd gebeur. Transvaal wat eenvoudig met 'n volle agterlyn beweging die Pieter Hendricks in besit stel en hy is die man wat dan oorgaan vir die eerste 3. Maar ons sien dat die vlagman in die oorkant sy vlag op het. Gevolglik sal ons hoor wat sê die skeieregter en of hierdie 3 gaan toegeken word.
Die 3 gaan nie toegeken word nie. Daar was 'n lyn staan, die Transvaalers wat op die OP manne wat aan die oorkant uitgetrap het. En dit is tot groot vreugde. Niemand het die vlagman gesien aan die oorkant nie. En meneer Herman Korenhoff wat onverstoord bly staan het net binnekant die halfgebied. En dit is waar François Pinaar die bal vinnig ingegooi het. Hier is die 3 weer, maar het is nie meer 'n 3 nie. François Pinaar na Pieter Hendricks. Al die harde werk van Pieter Hendricks verniet. Willie Schmidt wat aanslaan.
Nou Chris, dit was my, ek kan nou nie mooi verstaan wat die aangegaan het. Die lynstaanbal was ook vir Transvaal, sodat as iets verkeerd gegaan het by die vinnige ingooi, moes Transvaal die voordeel eintlik gekry het van die beweging.
Dit het vir my gelyk as ek na die verduideliking kyk aan die oorkant, dat die grensregter daar beduie dat François Pinaar was binne die speelveld toe die bal ingegooi is. En daarom was dit nie 'n wettige lynstaan nie, dis kom hulle moes terugkom.
Dan sou die eintlike reël vertolking seker gewees het dat die skrim moet toegeken gewees het aan Oos-Provinsie as François binnekant die kantlyn gestaan het of sy voet oor die kantlyn gehad het.
Hoe dit ook al sê, baie moeilik, ons kon nie presies hoor wat gesê is tussen die skeieregter en die grensregter nie. Maar steeds 12-6 in die guns van die OP. Verlede naweek die straf 3 gehad. Nou 'n 3 wat nie 'n 3 is nie. Rugby is 'n interessante spel. Eilbert, dis Bertus Creer. Hy sien hier is 'n groot gaping in die diskant. Hier kan probleme kom. Manie van Veeren het vinnig opgevolg. En baie gelukkig vir Transvaal. Want die bal uit is oor die kantlyn, maar 'n bal wat verkeerd spring vir Jaco Lou. En dis weer wat hulle sê, hierdie bal is nie rond nie.
Niks spring eintlik reg op die oomblik vir Transvaal nie. Ek moet sê die eerste helfte hulle speel nie met vreeslik baie vuur onder die voorspelers nie, maar ek moet dan ook alle eer aan Oos-Provinsie wat met vuur inklim hier onder die voorspelers van Transvaal.
Van Transvaal grond kry nie het aangeslaan. En dinge werk nie vir Transvaal op die oomblik nie. En hulle het nie veel simpatie wat hulle kry van hierdie toeskouers nie. 3 strafdoele en 'n skepdoel teenoor 2 strafdoele. Dit is die Oostelike Provinsie se voorsprong op die oomblik. Speeltyd raak min in die eerste helfte. Helbert na Bertus Creer. Rian Potgieter na Kraus. Dit is nog steeds nie oor die voordeellyn nie. Baie goeie verdediging nou deur Transvaal. Wat sommer die bal wil afneem ook in daardie beweging. Eilbert gaan vir hom tog uithaal. Die gaan 'n strafskop kom teen die Transvaalers. Meneer Lombard is op die merkie. Hy beduie daar na een van die Transvaalers. Daar is die lyn. Kyk 'n bietjie bekommerd aan die kant van Transvaal.
Ek dink dis 'n ding wat 'n klompe jare terug begin het waar hulle die molle gehad het en dat die bal op die grond gespeel het. En gevolglik op die oomblik sukkel ons spelers om wanneer hulle op die grond is, die bal alleen te laat.
Van daardie duidelik gesien hoe Elandrie van der Berg die bal probeer wat aan die OP kant lê, maar hy's tog verhoed om uit te kom. En meneer Pierre Lombard was onmiddellik daar en hy die strafskop toegeken aan Bertus Creer se 4de poging paal toe. OP sal tevrede wees as die 3 punte kan bykom. Ja, nog 3 punte by. En die Oostelike Provinsie wat sy voorsprong vergroot na 9 punte toe. Nie meer veel speeltyd oor. Inderdaad is dit die rustyd fluitjie wat blaas. OP 15 punte, 4 strafdoele en 'n skepdoel teenoor die 2 strafdoele van die span van Transvaal. 15-6 en 'n interessante tweede helfte. Ons is nou weer terug hier van die Boet Erasmus Stadion.
Ons Trianon-vriende is hier om te bly, maar waar?
31 grade suid, 18 grade oos.
Die Kaap, langs 'n Celtics dienstasie.
Dan is julle beslis gewoond aan vinnige diens.
En brandstof wat aanpaksels voorkom en optimale werkverrigting lewer.
So sê X3, dit laat engines beter werk.
Seker hoekom die AA dit aanbeveel.
Gawe klere.
Ja nee, van bure tot vriende. Kom ons ondersteun mekaar in die toekoms.
Moenie die Portugese Grand Prix die Sondag misloop nie. Net op TV1, aangebied deur Keltex CX3.
As mens sien wat motoriste in Amerika in die gesig staar, sou jy dink dat hulle motor van die jaar min of meer so iets is. En eintlik is hy.
If your face was square, ordinary razors would be fine. But your face has curves. That's why you need the revolutionary Schick FX, the only razor that flexes to follow the curves of your face. Schick FX. It feels good.
Well, welcome back to the Boet Erasmus, which has really been a kicking contest in this first half. 15 points to 6 Eastern Province lead, and one feels perhaps deservedly so, but there'll be a lot of anxious people up there in the Transvaal who'll be following the scoreline down in Cape Town, where Western Province are leading Natal. There'll be some harsh words from the Transvaal manager today, Ray Mort, but that's Alex Wiley in the middle of his Eastern Province charges. One fancies that he's aware of the fact that Eastern Province do not have a good record very often in the last 20 minutes of a match.
Well, Gavin, the difference obviously between these two sides has been the ability not to turn the attacking situations that they've had into points, and they haven't been able to drive. There have been very few driving movements, and we've seen very, very few from the Eastern Province pack.
Well, a lot of that has, of course, been due to poor finishing on both sides. That's Tito Lupini on the left, and then, of course, Ray Mort, the coach of Transvaal, as we go down to David van der Sant.
Well, Ray Mort, needless to say, with 9 points behind, Transvaal must be concerned at this stage.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they know what got ahead of them. The next 40 minutes is a new game, and we've got to put it together. We've made a lot of fundamental mistakes there, and once again, we're behind this first half, and we've got to put it together. We've got the wind with us, so the conditions are right. We're going to play percentage rugby. We'll play down there, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm 100% sure that we can pull this one through.
Ray, thank you very much. We've also heard in the meantime the ruling from the linesman. Apparently the ball was not put in from the right place after the line-out had already been formed. So that was the decision there. Let's join our commentators again.
Well, concentration will be on playing down in the Eastern Province half of the field, as we heard the news from Ray Mort. And they'll want quality possession, will Transvaal, to do that. But one feels fairly sure that Eastern Province too will make use of the fact that Transvaal are playing into the sun. It can be quite an important factor in these late season matches.
Well, obviously, as the players tend to tire in the second half, playing with the wind is an advantage. And at the start of the game this afternoon, the wind wasn't really a factor, but looking across the stadium, the trees show that the wind has in fact picked up.
Lots of concentration on the face of Audrey Geldenhuys.